Hello, Denul. Please unmute yourself and kindly give the welcome speech.
Okay, sir. The Galaxy of Intellectual. Honorable Director, invited guests, parents, teachers, and our beloved students. How phenomenal is this today? You will witness an entertaining and amusement program ahead. Everything in your life is a reflection of a choice you have made. If you want a different result, make different choice. A very good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to meet you, and I'm so delighted to see you all together here. This is Dinu Lashmi, brand ambassador of Igniting Dreams of Young Minds Foundation. It is my pleasure to welcome you all and thank you to each and every one of you for being here with us today. We are very pleased to be able to welcome those of you who have been with us today for the workshop, and we are really glad to host this.
Denul, your mic is off. Please on it. Okay.
It is my honor to welcome you all on this day where we all are gathered here for this wonderful event. I welcome you all on behalf of IDYM family. We are truly blessed with your presence. I heartily welcome the Central School Abu Dhabi. This is the day we all wait for a year. It is a day of celebration, success and tradition. And to double the joy of the day, we are graced by presence of great personalities. Stars shine at sight, but some stars shine at bright daylight. We have some such stars with us today. Yes, please have a round of welcome for our honorable chief guest, our very own guiding star, Dr. Pramod Mahajan, mentor of IDYM, principal of Saja Indian School. We warmly welcome you, sir, and I kindly request you share some of your precious words and messages with us today.
Yes, Pramod sir, are you there? I think he's not there. Okay, I request you request Swapnil ji, let Pramod sir will come join later.
Now I welcome motivational speaker. He is also a disguised young scientist from NASA and winner of plentiful awards and titles. Any guest? Yes. I warmly welcome Engineer Swapnil Talakdar sir from NASA. We are extremely thrilled to have you with us today. This extraordinary personality does not need any introduction at all. A noble man with a character of great heights, a propensity of distinction, an originator of multi-nations. You have made our society proud with all great endeavors taken over time. Yes, Swapnil Talakdar sir, on behalf of IDYM, I warmly welcome you.
Yes.
Yeah,
Swapnil ji.
thank you so much. Yeah, so am I audible, Raviji?
Yes, very nice, very nice. Please proceed.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. And abhi waiting list mein kitne hai? Like how many are there to come in? So should I wait
Now
for
we
1 to
have 37. Now we have 37,
Okay,
Swapnil ji.
okay, so should I wait for 1 2 minutes and then we'll start, or
You
since it
as
start?
per your timing, you can think of it.
Sure. Because like let the students come in
Yeah,
and
yes, yes.
okay,
Now it is 40
sure,
numbers.
sure.
We have reached 40.
Okay, I think more classes are coming in, so maybe
Ah,
I'll just talk a bit like for 2 minutes and then I'll start the presentation after some time.
okay, Swapnil. Okay.
Yeah, thank you. So, yes, thank you so much, Zinul, for a wonderful introduction. And then, uh, before going to the actual presentation, I would be discussing a few points from my end, a few observations, and I would like all of you to switch on your videos, your cameras as well, so that I can see your face and know from your reaction, right? That, like, how am I doing? Am I doing good, or like, is the content boring? So then that can help me out to uh, like, yeah, that's great. I can see a few thumbs up. That's great. Okay, great. So the good thing about today is all of you will definitely be learning a lot of new aspects of the space exploration. That is one.
Sir, your mic.
Yeah, okay, yes. Yeah,
Dear
I'll do the
children,
same one.
please don't mute any of our scientists. This is my last and final word to all of you. If you will do so, meeting will be cancelled. Okay. So don't repeat this. Okay. Please, Swapnil.
Okay, thank you. So, see, basically, what I intend to do in my events is basically to give you a perspective about space exploration, and I will not dive deep much into the technical aspect because, see, as you understand that, right? When we talk about the physics behind space, when you talk about the chemistry and biology, those are huge aspects and subjects, and it will take you long time to actually understand the real core, physics or the theories behind it. But what I can definitely assure you is that uh, from my experience, the perspectives I have, often we don't understand the values or like the attributes that we can inculcate as a student, and we later on we are not in a position
Sir,
to
sir, my
to
sir, sir,
tell me.
sorry to interrupt, but my wife,
Yeah, yeah. Hello.
sir, my Wi-Fi is
हाँ
lagging,
सपनी जी
so can
बोलिए
I
बोलिए
rejoin?
आवाज आ रही है.
Yeah, all should be
Yeah,
muted except the speaker.
yes,
All
yes.
others should
Yeah,
not
yes.
speak, please.
Yeah, you can
Yes,
rejoin
Dear
if you want.
children,
yes.
dear children,
Okay, sir.
you
Okay.
should not unmute your mic. If whatever question you have, you can ask in a message, or we are ready to answer your any questions, whatever you feel.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Sir,
please
my
let a speaker
Wi-Fi
speak
was
for a while,
lagging.
and then we can ask a question. Okay, thank you.
Mute
Very much.
yourself. Please mute yourself. And if your Wi-Fi is not
So what?
working,
Let
yes.
them. You can rejoin, no problem. Yeah,
Yeah.
they can definitely rejoin that. Yeah, thank you. So what I was saying is that, see, there are a few values and attributes that you have to have when you are where you are studying the school or in the college, so that later on those values come in handy. So I will start with the presentation right now. I can see a good number of students have already joined in. So let's dive deep into that. Is the presentation visible? If I can get a heads up.
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay,
No, sir. The
just one second.
presentation is not visible.
Okay, one second.
Yes, sir. Your presentation is visible now.
It's coming, right? Okay, sure.
Yeah, screen is visible so clearly, and it's very nice. And dear children,
Sure.
you will learn a lot of things from Swapnil ji. He is a person who can change your entire life. He's very hardworking person, very inspiring person. He has done a lot of things. 2 times he awarded by President of India. It's a very great, and he has been speaker for various countries. Yes, Swapnil ji, yeah, proceed, Swapnil ji.
Yeah. Okay, so it's visible, right?
Yeah,
Exploring
visible.
space beyond. Okay, thank you so much. Yeah. Uh, See, this particular topic of exploring space has always fascinated me. When I was in grade 9 and 10, that time itself, I had a lot of like aspirations that how can I take the right steps, or how can I go into the correct stream, or choose the correct combination of subjects, or go to the right college that can help me out in exploring a career in space. So when I was young, I did not have much people around me who can technically guide me, and from the northeastern part of India, so the exposure of exploration into space was quite less. There were hardly any observatories over there, and I could not get the access of information. But for all of you, uh, it's a good opportunity, not only because you are from a very privileged, I would say, country where you have a lot of new initiatives coming up. So those things also I'll be sharing, and on top of it, to add flavors to it, we also from our end are trying our level best so that we can help all of you, the students community, who are interested primarily for space exploration using different space technologies, be it satellite making, be it in a rocket propulsion system. However, that's not only the objective. Our objective is basically to give you a mindset that can help you inculcate values, and that will definitely help you in having that kind of a viewpoint about the whole space exploration programs and everything. uh, on the screen you can see Bob Lazar. He's a former government scientist, and most of you will not know him, but he's about him I just came to know a few days back as I was doing some research and just findings from YouTube, and then I found that Bob Lazar is associated with a very interesting project, and I think most of you will know about Area 51. That's in US, not far from Nevada. So most of you will hear about it, right? That Area 51 has a lot of aliens or what's going on here and there. So I wanted to make the presentation very interesting. So I have brought you the first evidence. I would say Bob Lazar. He's a former government scientist. He was into the he was basically a part of the reverse engineering division where they used to reverse engineer the alien technologies. So now when I'm saying you about the alien technologies, you might have questions in mind, sir, how can you believe whatever he says, right? And whatever he claims that he was part of the alien expedition programs in the government of US. So what kind of evidence do you have, right? Till date, the Pentagon has sanctioned huge amounts of funds for the UFO programs, and this basically shows that government of US has been primarily keen in getting the technologies in hand. And the claims that is made by Bob Lazar was proved way back when he took a lie detector test. So in this lie detector test, this is actual photograph from one of his documentaries where he was asked a lot of questions regarding his involvement in alien technologies and everything, and he passed it with flying colors. Till date, government of US has not given a official clarification about the existence of alien technologies, but there are a lot of UFO sightings, and the testimonials given by the people have been verified using lie detector test as well. But no one has ever claimed or have passed the lie detector test with the question that they have seen any aliens or not. So people have passed the lie detector test stating that they have seen alien technologies, but they have not seen aliens. Even if they claim, they were not able to pass through the lie detector test. So that's a very contradicting situation that's already present right now. So we do not know which government is advancing in their research in alien hunting or extraterrestrial being or alien technology. That's quite a very debatable concept, but in my personal experience they do exist. If we talk about the pyramids of Egypt, if we talk about the Maya civilization, there are monuments, there are structures that were not possible to be human built decades ago, centuries ago, I would say. So those were possible only because they did get some outer help from other life forms. We do not know who are they, how do they look like, or they might be among one of us right now in the event. We are not aware about that. But with my personal experience, they do exist. If you ask me evidence, I might not be able to give you right now, but maybe I may find out some evidence and share with all of you in the coming days, right? So being from UAE, this gentleman is one of the role models, I would say, for some of you. Most of you might not know him, Hassan Al Mansouri. He's the first citizen of UAE who have flown into space or have taken part into any space expedition program. So he was a Russian. He's a Russian cosmonaut. So in 2019, he was part of a Russian expedition to International Space Station, and he's the first individual or citizen of UAE to have ever done that. So that should be a very proud moment to all of you that in the late, I would say 7-8 years, UAE has actually accelerated the growth of the space programs, and some of the evidences I'll share with you today, and that will give you a lot of hopes and aspirations that UAE itself is a hotspot for space exploration program. To begin with, on the value aspect, I would always like all of you to have this mindset with you, okay, whenever you are there, whatever field you may choose, because today's event is one of the many events that you will be attending. and there are hundreds of
स्वप्निल
speakers
जी
that
थोड़ा सा प्रेजेंटेशन को फिर से एक बार थोड़ा सा वो कर दीजिए।
नहीं दिखाई दे रहा है क्या वो?
हाँ, वो थोड़ा सा आप देख लीजिए उसको, थोड़ा सा टेक्निकली थोड़ा सा
Your
वो प्रॉब्लम है।
presentation is not seen.
Is it? Okay, okay.
फिर से कनेक्ट हो जाइए।
मैं okay, हम फिर से कर once I'll do it.
Yes, sorry for inconvenience. There was some technical issue with this.
Maybe it's because of network part. Okay, I'll just try it now once.
Now we have 55 numbers. Very good students. We really
Sure.
respect you all for being here.
They will join within 10, another 10, 15 minutes, another 25 will be joining. One class they are making free. Yes. Now I think it may happen.
Okay, so just it has come now, sir.
Your
Okay, I
screen
don't
is
know what
coming.
happened last time.
I think wait. Yes.
Yeah,
Now
yeah,
it
yeah.
is. Now still it is white. Yeah, it has come.
Coming right
It has
now? Okay. Yeah.
Good. Thank you.
Okay, great.
Now it's visible.
Okay. Sure. So I don't know what happened last time. Okay, great. That's great. Okay, then I'll redo it because we have more students coming in. So and this kind of topics are really interesting. So I'll bit
Yes.
do a recap. See, as I was mentioning regarding the space exploration program, and I'll just do a bit of recap for the new ones who have joined in. So Bob Lazar is one of the government official scientists, I would say, who was part of the alien reverse technology division. So that post actually exists, that department actually exists in Sector 6. It's nearby Area 51. So he's one of the live testimony who has undergone a lie detector test verifying that government has been spending huge amount of budget, and they have been involved in a lot of projects where they have actually studied alien technologies. So see, these evidences are not the only one. There are many evidences, there are many testimonials. Personally, I have met them, I have seen them, but those things I'm not able to share on public platform as such. But on a personal note, definitely I can share you more if you're interested for like anything related to space and aliens. See, now people ask at times, often in events, I get the question that why we are so much curious about aliens, right? We do not know if they're coming or if they are present there with a constructive mind or with a destructive mind. So my answer to them is, see, when we do not know about a particular domain, we have no right to be presumptuous about their constructive or destructive nature, right? So if they were destructive enough, we should have already known that they have, somewhat occupied some aspects of the planet of Earth, or they might have, abducted people, or like a lot of things might have happened. So those things are not quite often seen or not quite often heard of. So we do not know if they are actually destructive for the ones who are already present or who have already been on our planet many decades back, many centuries back. But what if they are constructive or they are there with a helping hand? Because right now, as human species, I do not think that even tomorrow we find a new planet with different organisms who are not as wise, and they do not contain that thinking capability that or communication capability as we humans do. We will not be much like exploiting the planet as such. We will definitely like to explore, put our scientists there, send our spacecrafts and study the planet, try to build a relation and a lot of things, right? But I don't think we are going to destroy the planet as such. Same may happen for other terrestrial being also who comes to our planet. We do not know if they're with a harmful intent or they're with a constructive intent. So that is the reason the whole space exploration thing and whole extraterrestrial thing is so exciting, and this field never ends, right? The space is one field, one career that you can take up that will never end. And when you talk about space exploration program, I'm not only meaning, or I'm not indicating towards that particular domain of electronics department or mechanical department or mechatronics. See, when you talk about International Space Station, artists, we are talking about painters, dancers, even as well have experienced that, they have stayed in International Space Station. Biologists are required, chemists are required, meteorology department people are required. So there is a huge diversified list of people, and from every sector and domain, people have visited the International Space Station. One of the key figures from UAE who has been involved in space exploration program is Hassan Al Mansouri, the first UAE citizen who have taken part in the space exploration program.
Sir, you
And
are
till today,
pronouncing the name wrong. It is
hello.
Hazza. Hazza.
Okay, sure. So he was one of the first citizen who has taken the whole expedition to International Space Station in 2019, and he was part of the Russian space program. So he was one of the selected ones. And thereafter, there are other expedition programs that are undergoing right now in Russian Space Agency as well as in US Space Agency. And when you talk about Bob Lazar or even Al Mansouri, we are talking about different kind of people with different mindsets who have come into being. And I think the basic uh, uh, keynote or the basic values that all of them carry, or the common characteristics that they have carried, or even other role models that you might have in your life will carry, is definitely about the curiosity that they have. It's not only about the curiosity, it's about the intellectual curiosity that you have towards your particular domain of interest, or towards a particular domain of aspiration, in the longer run. So it's always wise enough for all of you at today's time to kind of finalize, or to kind of understand uh, what's your role model, or what's your life goal would be, and work accordingly. So if you fix your life goal or your passion at a later stage, then it becomes quite difficult to experiment out and to change it at some point. But if you try to explore what are your strengths and try to find your passion, and if that passion can be converted to a profession, that's nothing like it. But at times it might not so happen, but you can have two domains working simultaneously. You might have a passion of exploring space, and you might be a lawyer by the day. These things work quite fine. I mean, there is no contradiction to it. There are different people with different, or I would say two different kind of a field. One is the passion, the profession, and it works quite fine. And you definitely have a very satisfied life if you are into that domain. Um, a little about me. I was involved in the rover program, and I was involved in different programs. But those program details I'm not allowed to share in public. But just the photographs I can share. And my pilot trainer, Peter Paul, on the right side you can see, he's from Switzerland. And flying is one of the things that I definitely enjoy, and I have been doing it for quite some time. Whenever I get the opportunity, when I'm in Europe, I do that. In Germany, I used to do that. Besides that, in the field of innovation and other grassroots technology as well, I have received 2 awards from 2 of our late presidents of India. Those are related to different innovations and technologies for specially gifted people. So those, there's a long time back. Going a bit about the history. So when you talk about the achievements that we have, like we have underwent today at today's time, we have to give the credit to a lot of individuals who have sacrificed their life, who have given the whole life towards understanding or towards achieving those things. Aristotle in 384 BC was one of those permanent, I would say, like a role model for most of today's thinkers or philosophers, and he gave the concept that Earth was at the center of the solar system, which we all know that that's not true as of today. But he was the one who even went far to even think on these lines, because at that time there were a lot of religious communities, a lot of scientific communities who were not brave enough to think out of their box. The things which they could not see, they were not able to work on those areas, or they were not able to think on those areas. Later on, Nicholas in 1473 AD, he came out with the concept, and he had verified that it was not sun that's at the center, but so it was not Earth at the center, but it was basically the sun at the center. And he verified it. He has his own derivations, and he showed it to the scientific community. But even in 1473 AD, many scientific communities and aristocratic families did not accept the fact, because they were of the thought that Earth, with all the life form, should be at a superior level, and that should be at the center, controlling and observing and monitoring other planets and satellites. So around 1500 AD itself, when Galileo worked out with the telescope, and then when people were uh, they were convincing. I mean, his derivations were convincing because he had a lot of evidences with him which he could show. That's there. And after that, Isaac Newton as well came in, one of the great physicists we all know about him, and he derived the three laws of motion. Once the three laws of motion came into being, Wright brothers took that inspiration in mind. He also had in mind, Wright brothers also took a lot of inspirations from Nicholas, from Aristotle, and they thought that if that's actually true, if Earth is one of the surrounding or revolving planets around Sun, then why don't we make an attempt to see how the space looks like? But to even fly to space, we have to start by lifting off, by going a bit above the ground, right? By circling the planet first. That's the first priority. So with that, Wright brothers designed a first successfully. They were able to fly their first designed aircraft that flew for about 1 2 minutes, and then later on they had a lot of different modification. Gasoline tanks were put in, and then they were able to increase their flight time as well over time. Once the flight started into being there, after Zeppelin was one of the key transportation medium. That is one of the hot air balloon that was there, and thereafter we saw rockets coming into being. So Germany was one of the pioneer who was able to send the first intercontinental ballistic missile, that is V2, from its island called Peenemünde Island, and they were able to send it to space. So that's the first entry of any human-made object into space. So that I'm talking about the last 60 70 years ago. We all know about Neil Armstrong's first famous quote when he took into the Apollo 11. But before Apollo 11, Apollo 6, 7, and 8, 9, and all the Apollo missions were also key in making sure that it was safe for human beings to actually enter into moon's atmosphere, or land on moon, because Yuri Gagarin was one of the first, I would say, human being who went into space. Before that, Alan Shepard was one of the gentlemen from US who was able to reach to that Kármán line. So Kármán line is basically a kind of a imagination point above.
Sir, you're muted, sir.
सुनील जी आपका माइक म्यूटेड है, थोड़ा देख लीजिए। स्वप्निल जी आपका माइक थोड़ा सा देख लीजिए।
Uh-huh.
No, it's fine now. It's fine now.
Hello.
No, it's fine now,
Sure.
Swapnil.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. You can continue.
Okay, sure. Thank you. So, see, a lot of series of Apollo missions were taken in, and during that time, even Russian cosmonauts had planned up, and they took in a lot of interventions, and they tried to go in for that. When we talk about space exploration program, we also have to keep in mind that one of the primary objective of space exploration program is to collect samples and study the surface of all these planetary and satellites. So this is one of the photographs of the astronauts where they were pulling off samples on the surface of moon, and then they had a lot of difficulties in doing that, because the payload is huge, and then again on top of it the gravitation is less, so there were a lot of difficulties that came in. So thereafter NASA went into designing their human rovers. So I was one of the team members for those kind of program. Besides that, in today's time, NASA has also launched the NASA Human Exploration Rover Challenge, where most of the countries are participating. It's a very exciting journey, and all of you can look up to that as well. To be, if your school is interested, you can look up to that and take part in that, where they invite you to design rovers or human operated vehicles, where that can be used on foreign planets and satellites. So thereafter, when we talk about the advancements of different countries, be it Japan, be it Russia, or be it US, they have gone a quite deal of areas they have covered, and they have explored or expanded their territory of space. But then again, when you talk about the UAE's contribution in 2013, the government of UAE came into being, and they constituted this forum, or a group of I would say intellectuals came into being, and they said that it's quite possible few help from other countries to be at the top notch field in space exploration. And then His Excellency, the President of UAE, came in as well, and he decided that by the 2021, that is this year, we should be at the forefront of space exploration. So in 2014, UAE Space Agency was designed, and then thereafter, the National Space Law in UAE came into being, and a lot of I would say public comments were made on the vision that the UAE government holds, and among those plans, the number of satellites by UAE was planned to be increased from 3 to 10, because right now UAE has around 3 satellites indigenously made as revolving the planet Earth, and by 2024, UAE has a plan to reach the far-sighted areas of Moon, which have not been explored by other space agencies, and sending man-made unmanned rovers to that site. And one of the ambitious projects that UAE has is to build a whole city on Mars. I mean, this is something some of you might know, some of you might not know, but in the next 100 years, that is exactly, if I'm not wrong, the year was 2117. UAE wants to set up their own space colony on the surface of Mars and populate that by around 600,000 people. That's quite an ambitious project, but even to start with that, they need to start the whole structure on the surface of the planet Earth. So in a few years down the line, UAE will have a huge observatory that will be a structure that will be a replica of what's going to be built on the surface of Mars. And if you want to stay inside or work inside that observatory or that whole replica of Mars like dome, so you have to go through different programs, and selection process will be there, but it's very much down the line. It's coming in very soon. Talking on the life forms of human beings, so life on Earth started around 4 billion years ago, and I'm not talking or specifying the life form of us. We are talking about dinosaurs that came into being initially, and thereafter we happen to like get evolved from the very basic protein cell that form the basic fundamental structure of life, that is a cell, and then from the cell molecules came in, and then the whole organic evolution that came into being. But there are a lot of possibilities, and there are definitely a lot of possibilities where other planets have started their evolution long back, and right now they will have alien species. But the interesting thing is we do not know where the space ends actually. So that's the reason we are not able to understand how big the whole universe is, and how and where are the planets and all these other life forms at the moment. Emirates Mars mission started 4 years back, and last year spacecraft of Hope was sent. This was the first interplanetary mission that was constituted under the leadership of UAE Space Agency. And this month, the space probe Hope is expected to reach the or orbiting region of the planet of Mars. And people often ask that why are we so keen about Mars, right? Why focus about Mars and not Venus? See, Mars, it's so believed that Mars has a lot of elements that Earth has, and that's the basic element. One of the elements is protein, because protein is one of the building blocks as well when you talk about cell formation. So Mars right now has evidences of protein, and that's found by the Curiosity rover by NASA in 2018. And then it's so believed that Mars was once Earth-like. That means it was once habitable, but there are some reasons there due to which it's not habitable anymore. So the scientists and engineers, they are just trying to find out that what happened to Mars, that it has become inhabitable as of now, and can we reverse engineer the process and make it habitable. So these are the basic two, I would say, fundamental huge ambitions that the country or the space agencies hold right now. So the Hope probe was launched from Japan last year, and we all know COVID was there, but somehow they managed to arrange special flights, and they were able to uh, send forth the rockets and other things from UAE to Japan, and Japan also shared the rocket propulsion system with the UAE Space Agency, and that's how a collaborative effort was taken in for the Emirates Mars mission. So Omran Sharaf was one of the project managers, and then he came into the spotlight, and he shared that as a project manager there was a lot of expectations from the whole team, and the interesting thing is that team that was formed under the uh, uh, whole Emirates Mars mission was quite new, and even right now they are quite new. They do not have exactly the field experience. They took a lot of help from different universities, uh, but then again it's a quite new experience, and I would say new group, young group, and they from different department, they were ambitious enough and they were courageous enough to take the steps and take it forward. So on the screen you can see Voyager is one of the uh, space probe that has exited the solar system. So when we talk about reaching to extraterrestrial being, when we talk about reaching to aliens, we have to talk about Voyager as well, because Voyager is one of the space probes that has left the solar system. Just I'll repeat it. Okay, it has left the solar system in 2012, and it is probably right now it has already entered into other solar systems, or it has crossed many planets that's beyond our solar system as well. And it contains a lot of evidence. If somehow any extraterrestrial being are able to extract the information from here, they will definitely find traces of videos, music and photographs, and a lot of other evidences, and that will give the highlight that the planet of Earth exists and there are life forms there, and then there are different codes and encrypted there that will give us also an indication that someone has received this message and from where they have received it. When you talk about the whole space race,
Sir, your mic is mute.
yeah, yeah. So the whole journey from the private companies or organization, when you talk about these three companies are prior, I would say at a top notch as of now. SpaceX, their objective is to colonize Mars in by 2030. Virgin Galactic is a company which is planning to offer space tourism, but the cost will be huge. But then again, doesn't matter. For the ones who can afford, they can definitely enjoy how it feels like to see the planets from the space. And Blue Origin is a ambitious project by the founder of Amazon, and he wants to build a space colony that's floating in space, right? Those are very ambitious projects. There are different other companies as well coming into being, but these are the three topmost companies who have advanced their technologies a lot. So when you see the private companies come into being, when you see the different programs of different countries, and for all of you, the information which I would like to share is UAE has promised that for the next 100 years, UAE is going to give job opportunities to all the students who are the participants who are interested in space exploration program. For that, UAE has officially designated 3 universities that can run space programs. If you want the list of the universities, I can share. I don't.
Sir, you're muted again. So.
Yes, Swapnilji, thank you so much. Dear children, if you have some question, you can ask to Swapnilji. Meantime, I will try to show you some video. Sangvi, yes,
Sure. Go ahead.
Swapnilji. Okay. So you all can watch
Yeah.
a video of Pratham with the satellite made by
Sir, your mic is mute again.
Okay, fine. Sorry for that. Pratham is a satellite which is counting number of electron in ionosphere. You all know that atmosphere has got different layers. So Pratham is counting the number of electron in ionosphere, which is helping the country to detect tsunami, earthquakes and all. So dear children, I just want to show you one video of Pratham launching, and parallelly I will be showing you the video of how a PSLV is able to launch any satellite in the space. So just watch it. I will just share my screen. Before sharing all this, I just want to tell all of you that you all know that whenever we talk about PSLV and GSLV and SLV, SLV is the India first rocket which was launched by starting we were able to launch our satellites, but after that we got a launch vehicle name called PSLV, and then we got a launch vehicle called GSLV. So now what you are going to see that it is PSLV C-35, which was yes, some students, please don't do this. We are going to end the meeting within 5 or 7 minutes. So I hope that you can understand the need of our. So all of you are able to see my screen, dear everyone?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
The remaining two satellites, Pratham from IIT Bombay and PISat from PES University Bangalore, are from India. The main objective of Pratham is to estimate the total electron count, TEC, with a resolution of 1 kilometer by 1 kilometer.
Have a feel of the launch.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
प्रक्षेपण जलन बिल्कुल सामान्य आकाश की ओर उठता हुआ PSLV और जोरदार we will hear the confirmation of the separation of the Pratham satellite built by students of IIT Mumbai, and also followed just 10 seconds later the separation of PISat satellite built by the students of PES University Bangalore. जी हाँ, वैसे कई उपग्रह इसरो भारतीय विश्वविद्यालय के लिए छोड़ सकता है. जी हाँ, प्रथम उपग्रह भी अलग. प्रथम is separated.
Pratham is separated, every one of you. Now I will show you another video which will tell you that how satellite is placed in the rocket. Satellite is always placed in the top of the rocket. That is the nose part of the rocket. So now you are going to see how satellite is going to get placed in the rocket and how PSLV is able to launch that particular satellite into space. So just watch the second animation we have for PSLV. This is a launch vehicle of India, and a world was not believing us. We can send our Mars mission to Mars with the help of PSLV, but India made a record by sending Mars Mangalyaan to Mars by PSLV only. So you have a second video. Please watch this also, every one of you. You can see in this video there will be different stages for PSLV. First is a booster stage, that is called first stage, and the rocket will get divided into 4 parts, and the finally satellite will get launched. So watch this one.
India's PSLV C2 rocket is standing majestically on the launch pad at the Sriharikota range, ready to be launched. First stage and the 4 grounded strap-on boosters are ignited. PSLV is getting lifted off and clears the launch pad. Two air-lit strap-on boosters are ignited. The 4 grounded strap-on boosters are burnt out and are separated. 2 air-lit strap-on boosters are separated. First stage is burnt out and separated. Second stage is ignited. Payload fairings are separated. The second stage is now burnt out and separated. Third stage is ignited. Third stage is burnt out and is separated. Fourth stage is ignited. Fourth stage is burnt out and the main satellite is separated. 3 microsatellites are separated.
This children, you have seen this PSLV animations and all, and yes, Swapnilji, are you there? Can you hear me? Okay, he's not able to hear. Okay, fine. So, children, if you have some question, you can ask right now, or else we can close the meeting within few minutes. If anybody have any questions, you can ask. Okay. Okay. So yes, can we close the meeting with the permission of school authorities? Can we close the meeting now? So yeah. So thank you everyone for joining us, and yes, now you all can leave the meeting. The session has ended. If anybody interested to ask any question, you have still time is there, or else you can just leave the meeting. Okay. So we have closed the session. Thank you everyone for joining us. Okay. Have a good day. Thank you.